It's time to start our pilot show. The football referee. So the football referee, and we have an interesting, interesting co-host here, Femi. I don't think Femi and Trevor's been formally introduced. So Trevor, Femi this is Trevor, and that's Femi.
Hi, Femi.
Hi,
I can't
Trevor.
see you, unfortunately. Hi there. I can't see you.
How you doing?
I've got.
Can you not?
Oh, there I can now. Good to see you.
All right. Yes, good to see you too. Nice to meet you as well.
You as well. Looking forward to our discussions on football or football refereeing.
Football referee.
The football referee. This is going to be interesting. So I told Trevor to watch out for you because you're very, very
Passionate.
yeah,
Passionate.
about football.
I'm very critical as well. Very critical.
Very
Right?
critical.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that's justified sometimes. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So without wasting much time, just before we start, the timer is on 10. It's less than 10 minutes now, so it's gonna go off. So when it does go off, what we do is we use the same link to get back in.
Okay.
Yeah. So the same link that I sent you, we now use it to.
Will take us in.
Yeah, we now use it to get back in. Trevor already knows that. So let's start. So what I'm very worried about is how did City? I mean, I don't particularly like City, Manchester City anyway. How did we allow them to win it? Is that 4 times they've won it now? Is that 4
Yeah.
4 times.
4 times in a row now.
back to back? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened? Can anyone tell us what happened? What went wrong? Who's gonna
Nothing
go?
went
Well,
wrong.
Femi,
On my part, yeah, absolutely nothing went wrong. I, as a person, I am not a fan of Guardiola, but he's the best coach around. I'll be honest with you. He is the best coach around.
Yeah.
He does his homework, nitty-gritty. He knows a player from when that player is in the mother's womb. He is that good. I don't like him, I'll be honest. I don't like him, but I cannot but say I love him as a coach. Nothing went wrong. That City team will beat any team in the world. Go bring any team from anywhere in the moon. That City team on a good day will beat any team. So nothing went wrong. It's just that team is a good team. And that coach is unbelievable.
Right. Okay. So let's hear what Trevor has to say on this. I'm sure Trevor has a different opinion on this.
well, I'd just like to ask Femi. I totally agree. I have that full respect for Guardiola, as Femi does. But why do you not like him as a person?
Now, it might seem a lot of people might see a bit racist.
Right.
Why I don't like him as a person is from what I've heard anyway. I'm not there, but I'm being judgmental here. From the trend that I've seen with him, with what he's done with Samuel Eto'o, what he's done with Yaya Toure, and 1 or 2 more. And from what I've not heard his side of the story, but the other guys have their own side of the story, the interviews they've had with reporters and stuff like that. That's the area I don't like about it.
Right. Okay. Well, I agree with you. Man City are probably at this time the best club team in the world, and they probably would beat anybody. And I always think in life, most things, whether it's football or anything else, are cyclical. They there's ups and downs in life, and that's in our own lives. We find that you get highs and lows. But it's an incredible thing with Man City. I mean, they did some years ago go down. I think they went down to League One,
I
don't know whether they went to League Two, but they, since they came back, I mean, they have been pretty phenomenal. They had a few different managers up until Guardiola, but the last few years, as we say, 4 consecutive champion, the Premier League champions. And as he himself said, it's unlikely, who knows, but it's unlikely to be repeated anytime soon, except that it could be next year, it'll be 5 consecutive because he's staying on. So it's just breaking these records all the time. They are a fantastic group of footballers, which clearly is like, the what is the expression? The total, the sum of the parts, the end result is greater than the individuals that might be, although they're very good. And, you think of De Bruyne and, well, I could list the whole team, and they all fit together like a perfect jigsaw puzzle. And other teams, really, I guess they try and copy the style of play. We've seen that a lot this last season or two, where the goalkeeper, doesn't kick the ball up very often. They play it from the back, which kind of worked at first. But I think most teams now realise that very few of the top teams have got the ability to maintain that. They end up, goalie passes it out to them. They end up kicking it back to them. It's booted up anyway.
Yeah.
But so they're copied, but none of them really can be as good. On the other side, some would say that they have these amazingly large resources, so they've bought great players. I mean, there are still these charges hanging over them. I think 112 or something like that. And it doesn't seem to make sense to me why that hasn't been dealt with. I mean, I don't say it should be done during the season, but then Everton and Forest, they were deducted points during the season. So that strikes me as a bit strange, and maybe it's a case of, money talks the loudest, and City are the best team. I don't want to see them dragged down in any way, because I think they're a joy to watch. And especially as my team, Crystal Palace, dare I say, which they're doing very nicely, thank you. I wish the season was continuing, because I think we would carry on the roll we're on. But we have actually been up to Man City in the last 3 or 4 seasons and beaten them, I think, twice. And not many teams can actually say that. So City are a great, great team. And for my part, I mean, I don't know anything about Guardiola, really. I totally respect his ability as a coach, and I enjoy his humour. I mean, there was one incident, I think it was this season, and it's on YouTube, you can find it, where I think his team were playing, it was Leeds, I believe, because the manager then was the American chap, whose name escapes me at the moment. But I think a mistake was made by one of his team, Guardiola, and he kicked, in anger, he kicked a bottle of water that was down by his feet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And he saw it, went in the direction of the manager of Leeds, who was a bit of a fiery chap himself. And Guardiola took off with his coat and his arms flailing behind him like a cartoon character in the direction of the manager to say, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that to happen." And even the other day, I think in one of the last games, when he thought, I think it was against, when they could have had an equaliser against them, and Son of Spurs got through, and he thought, well, this is going to be a goal, which would actually effectively have given the league championship to Arsenal if they'd only drawn that game. And as he thought he was going to score, Guardiola completely fell on his back. And I just like that sort of, I mean, Man United used to have that, Louis van Gaal, was it? And he was an absolute character. He would suddenly just fall flat on the floor as well. So, for me, I think football is a great entertainment. I've been a supporter of Palace for a good few years. But it's good to see a little bit of humour in it, in some of the interviews. You don't tend to get, and I understand why, you don't tend to get players nowadays who display humour. Years ago, you can remember some players. I think Palace used to have a goalkeeper in my early days of going there, called John Burridge, very good goalkeeper, but he had a real comic personality. He would just, he would just do odd things, a bit like Bruce Grobbelaar. I mean, do you remember Bruce Grobbelaar when,
yeah.
when he was facing a penalty, his legs would just go jelly-like, and he would really do all sorts of odd things.
Like that, yeah.
Absolutely. So I like the showbiz side of football as well. So, but yeah, coming back to the subject, Man City are the best, and they deserve what they win, I have to say.
When we come back, because we've got a minute left now, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about the FA Cup this weekend, the finals. That's an
interesting one.
that's gonna be very interesting. Because I think Manchester United is going to win. I think so.
I disagree.
I don't think Trevor thinks so, and now I know that Femi doesn't think so. So
completely.
I'm outnumbered here now.